Okay, we are.
Yeah, just a second. So, welcome to the Financial Wellness Center Wealth Wednesday Facebook live stream. We hope you're doing well and believe that your week has been great. As usual, today we get to discuss on matters that really affect a person's ability to build on wealth, and one of them is education. And today we are so humbled and excited to have one of the greatest personalities in the African continent and beyond. Her name is Kathy Sibanda. She is a financial literacy advocate and the founder of the Financial Literacy Trust. And we are going to discuss on should we include financial literacy lessons in our schools. And again, we must agree that most of us, the financial mistakes that we've made as adults could have been avoided if we could have learned something about financial management or financial education at an earlier age, maybe in high school or in primary or even at university level. So today we'll discuss and get to understand what is financial literacy, what are the advantages of actually getting to learn it at an earlier age as compared to learning it when you are adults through mistakes and experiences. So before we can continue, just like to give us time so that you can keep on tagging your friends, keep on inviting everybody. If you are a teacher in any of the schools within your location, this is a live session you need to attend. Tag your family members. If you have your children, it will be also great for you to watch this live session with them. And the best of all is invite at least 3 friends. Share this link, invite as many people as possible, as we are going to delve deeper on what financial literacy is and why it should be included in the school curriculum, not at school only, even at home, especially now that we have kids at home. As a parent, you need to understand the dynamics of financial education so that you can start teaching your children how to manage money. So I'll just give us like 1 minute. Meanwhile, Miss Kathy, you can introduce yourself to our audience as we proceed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ila, for inviting me. Talking about it that very close to my heart for so by way of introduction, my name is Kathy Sibanda. So the is an literacy organization that was founded in 2016 with a vision to raise a financially literate generation. Our mission and our vision is to teach people financial literacy, from budgeting to managing debt, entrepreneurship, learning how to invest, learning how to buy insurance, learning how to start your business, anything to do with finance. And as the financial literacy, we believe in financial for all. So we have financial literacy solutions for all age groups, from people as young as kids to adults, so cover everyone, because financial literacy, we believe in financial literacy for all. And if we are discuss in example, only adults, they are eventually going to grow, and they also need to be taught. Young adults need financial, teenagers need financial. So basically, financial to everyone.
Kathy, maybe you could check on your mic because you're breaking. Like I'm not sure what's causing the breakage.
Let me check. We still have a minute. I can go over the introduction.
Okay.
All right. My name is Kate Banda from Ghana. I'm the founder of the Financial Literacy Fund. So the Financial Literacy Fund in 2016 for raising financial literate generation. So we provide financial literacy solutions to all age groups. We believe in financial literacy for all. So we are targeting at a specific group, for example, like adults, because even teenagers, young people, and eventually they all see that.
Kadi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but there's a bit of noise from your side.
Okay, because you are really breaking. I'm not sure why you're breaking that much, but let us try once again. But my voice is clear, right?
Your voice is clear.
I'm not sure why you're really breaking, but
But my network is good because I'm even just close to where my Wi-Fi connection is.
now your voice is perfect. Now you're not breaking.
I'll try to get close to the.
I'm really sorry for that. Just try to start again, maybe just a short one.
Okay, my name is Kepi Sibanda from Botswana. I'm founder of the Financial Trust. I'm very passionate about financial literacy because I believe lives can be transformed when people understand financial literacy. So Financial Literacy Trust have a lot of solutions covering all ages, in financial literacy for all, and our mandate is to educate the nation on financial literacy issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the amazing introduction, and we really appreciate you for giving us this time to just come here and educate the audience on what financial literacy is and why we believe it should be included in the school curriculum. Because most of us, the mistakes we made, financial mistakes we've been making as adults, they are because we did not learn about money management when it comes to money management when we were back in school. So I believe tonight's discussion will help us to understand what financial literacy is and, you know, why we are advocating for it. And most of all, I believe the audience will be able to benefit much from it. So without further ado, I'll just go to the first question. Maybe Kathy, you could tell us, what do you understand by financial literacy from your perspective?
All right, thank you. I'm going to explain it in a very simple way for each and every person who is to understand. So financial literacy is the skills and the knowledge to manage your financial resources effectively. When you talk of financial resources, we are talking about money, and everyone relates to money. So financial literacy means one is having the skills to be able to manage their money, to be able to take care of their money, to be able to grow their. And one thing that makes financial literacy unique, a unique subject, is we are not talking about anything foreign. We are talking about money. Anyone have a relationship with money? Maybe an hour ago, you used $5 or $5 to buy your airtime. You bought bread, pay for a combi, you bought groceries. So we all have our relationships with money. So that's what makes talking about money unique. We are not talking about anything or anything that people do. It's about something that we all know and we can all see.
That is very true. Actually, I usually say money is a tool that can help or hurt you. And unfortunately, a bigger percentage of us or a bigger percentage of people, they've been hurt by money instead of being helped by it. Because remember, money is just a tool. So what you said about financial literacy, I totally agree with you, because daily we transact with money. We are not in that age where we used to do barter trading all the time. Now, the current generation, we use money as a tool to transact. So if you want to buy anything, if you want to get anywhere, you need to use money. Hence the reason financial education is very, very important. So maybe you could tell us what are the advantages of learning money principles as a student rather as an adult?
Learning about money from a young age is very important, and I think it's something that we should really be advocating for and making sure that parents are also equipped to be able to teach their kids from a young age. So if someone is taught about money from a young age, they're able to build positive money habits from a young age. They're able to learn, because the other thing, financial literacy helps one to be independent. You're able to be independent and you make confident decisions about money. A child who is taught money, they're going to grow up confident, making confident. They are not going to grow up and maybe get into debt. They are not going to be able to not to really follow the trends or the societal pressures, what is happening now currently, the standards and the trends that people end up having to follow because it's the trend or it's what is currently happening. So if kids are taught about money from a young age, they are going to learn these principles and they are going to grow to be responsible children. So parents should teach their kids about money, because I don't think we want kids to go through the same money mistakes that we went through. Some of the people that I met, they'll be saying, if only I was taught financial literacy from a young age, I would not have made 1, 2, 3 mistakes. So if kids are taught money, they'll grow up to be responsible parents, they'll grow up to be responsible adults. They'll be able to grow their wealth from a young age without really having to first maybe be in debt that they have to pay and deal with that.
That is very right. I believe if we teach our children right now about money, 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, they'll be able to make sound financial decisions that most of us were not able to make. Maybe I'll just read some of the comments from our audience. Taolo Israel April, you're still breaking. I believe that was earlier on. Thank you so much for joining us, Taolo. Omogolo just joined this. Hope I'm not late. Yeah, you are not late. We just started. Would appreciate you inviting more of your friends so that we can keep on learning. Remember, today's topic is, should financial literacy be taught in schools? As a parent, as a guardian, do you think it's important for you to start teaching your children about money right now in your household, within your community? Just to mention one again, you mentioned that something about debt management. When you learn about financial literacy as a student or as a young person, there are certain debts you may not get into. So maybe you could give us your opinion about student loans, because I believe a lot of people who have been able to attend colleges, universities, they have relied on the student loan, which has in turn turned out to be like a prison for somebody, because you find somebody telling you, I've had to repay my student loan for 10 years, another one for 15 years. So what is your opinion about it?
Let me just start by saying, so that you appreciate where I come from. So unfortunately in Botswana, we don't have that problem because our fees are paid for by the government. Such a privilege, right?
Wow, yeah, that is a privilege.
Yes, so we are paid for, the fees are paid for by the government, and then you also get a student allowance of at an equivalent of $140 per month.
Wow.
Until you period. Yes. But I'll say in countries where students have to get loans for education, I'll say a loan on education is a good investment. It's an investment because you are investing in acquiring knowledge. So it's a good investment. Unfortunately, once you are now in that state, then you have to come up with a plan of paying it. If you end up very long time to pay, or where maybe you are paying 10 years down the line, you are still paying that. But if you are not able to, or maybe your parents cannot afford to pay for you, unfortunately, nothing you can do. What I can advise people to do is whenever you decide to get into debt, is make sure that it's something that you understand and you compare interest rates to get, maybe you're getting a loan from a financial institution. Make sure that you understand the terms and the conditions, you understand the interest rate, what will happen if you default, what will happen if you finish, what will happen if you finish university and you can't get a job. So all those, the terms and conditions, yeah, so that you know what you're getting yourself.
That is so perfect. Actually, we should now move to Botswana to study there, because if the government is paying for your university fee and actually giving you a stipend every month, then that sounds cool. And I think that is something your government really, I really applaud it for that, because I am seeing it in an economic perspective, such that most people who finish school in Botswana, they don't start at a low level with debts. You go right away into if it's employment or business, then you start building up your life easily. So I believe that is like one way the government is trying to improve the lives of its citizens by trying to eliminate the student loan debt. However, as you mentioned,
Although we cannot run away from the fact that even if people are being given stipends by government, you still have a lot or majority of university students who be in debt. Let's say maybe by getting debt because you want to meet your other, you want to more especially maybe to meet your wants. So you have a group of, or a certain percentage of university students who be in debt, who be having even their debit card being paid, being kept by the loan sharks, or here we call them machinists. So even if we are still in the stipend from government, we still have majority of students who will be having those small loans, but with very, very, very high interest because they are from the loan sharks.
yeah, speak about loan.
Which still shows that there is an aspect of financial literacy that is lacking, because if people had financial literacy, you learn how to manage the little that you have, the student that you are given, to make sure that you know it caters from all your needs. You are a student, if you are staying in rest or you are staying on off campus, you know how to manage the little that you are getting to make sure that it covers all your basic needs as a student.
Speaking of learning how to manage the little you get as a student, what do you think? Is it a good idea for a parent to actually teach his or her children budgeting and actually give them something like a template, so that when they go to school, they need to have their own budgets? So maybe you could maybe touch base. Is budgeting going to work for a student, and is there any other maybe a student budget, a very unique budget just for students? What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, in terms of budgeting, I wouldn't really say we would have a budget for someone who is working, or a budget for a student. If you look at the general outline of a budget, first of all, what we look at is your income sources. If you have more than one income sources, you list your income sources, and then you look at your expenses, which are normally defined by, you have to be able to distinguish between your needs and wants. So you obviously have to prioritize your needs, and you can live without your wants, or you can always save money for the wants. And then have some money that you're allocating towards investing, towards saving, or towards debt repayment if there's. So if we are talking about a student, if there's a debt that you are paying, maybe borrowed money from your mom, that means your budget should incorporate an aspect of debt repayment, and then savings. So normally with students, or when we talk about savings, people should not really be thinking of, I need a lot of money to start saving. If you're a student and you can save $5 a month, that's what you can start with. You don't really need to start with a lot of money, because I normally tell people that if you cannot be able to take care of $100, so we can't really trust you with $10,000. So start first with managing Even if you can be that from a budget, maybe set aside $5 and save that every month. Don't really focus on the numbers, but be consistent and build a positive habit.
That is very correct. I usually say if somebody cannot be able to manage $100 right now, even if you give them $1 million, they will not be able to manage. And I think that is the case study of lottery winners. These people, they win money, 1 million USD, but 3 months down the line, the person becomes poor and even becomes worse off than before he or she won the lottery. So being disciplined and diligent with the little you have as a student right now is very, very important. And one way is through saving and learning to, to have a small budget, just a simple one, because you are a student, to learn to manage the money you are getting from your parents, from your government, from your family. It is very important for that. And another thing, I'd just like you to share with us on what kind of an investment can a student do apart from investing in education, because investing in education is very important and it's a topic on its own, but maybe you could touch base on the kind of investments that a student can take advantage of. Now that we mentioned they need to at least learn to save, I believe at some point after they've saved, the accumulated money might be worth investing in something.
Okay, so in terms of investment, there are a lot of options that we can look at for students. Number one, they can start by buying shares. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need to start working for you to buy shares. So they can start buying shares. However, they need to understand that when you decide to invest, you need to understand or know your investment horizon. If, for example, is a student who is about to finish university and they want to invest money that they'll need next year, then investing in shares is not a good idea because it can take years for you to be able to get profits. That dividends that will be of very, very minimal income or money less than what you thought you would get. So understanding your investment horizon is very important. And then also having risk capital. And investment, the moment you decide to invest, you should be having risk capital. And risk capital is money that you can afford to lose without suffering any financial consequences. So for a student, the example for what I can recommend, I've already talked about shares. Another investment can be having a side hustle. As a student, you can start a small business or you can learn graphic design and be designing flyers for your peers or other people. Because some things you don't really need to think of a business as something that is huge or need a lot of capital. So think of a side hustle, something that you can do and will not really affect or interfere with your studies. So you can utilize online platforms, learn from the internet, you can learn coding, just do something that you can be able to come up with to be able to supplement your income. And then there are other opportunities also where students can, if you want to start a business and you don't have enough capital, you can group up with a group of friends and then maybe use opportunities like crowdfunding, Mothelo, and all that. Yes. So I not really be looking for, let's say you are still a student and you are not working, you are looking for something. Look for small opportunities because money is in small things that are around. So look for starting a business or something that you can do. Just look for what is it that or what problem can you solve in your community.
That is so perfect. We'll take a short break by just getting to read what people are saying on other channels. Omogolo, you're saying, true, Kathy, it's reasonable to get a loan for studies. Yes, education is a worthy investment. I know most people have had a very bad mindset towards education. They say like education is no longer the key, but I believe, personally, I strongly believe having the right education not with the aim of getting employment, but creating employment is very important. So education, investing in education is very important. Do not let the society or people who really do not know why they are studying or they studied talk you out of education. Education is very important. As I always say, knowledge applied is power. Now keep on your questions coming. Bring on your questions. If you have any question regarding financial literacy in schools, or financial literacy for children, and children here, we are, cutting across from kindergarten to university level. Maybe you are still in school, or maybe you have someone in your household that is still in school. We are discussing on matters of financial literacy to that age band, as well as if you are a guardian or a parent. This is a live session. You need to join and ask as many questions as possible, because we have a very amazing guest, Miss Kathy, all the way from Botswana. She is the founder of Financial Literacy Trust, an organization that is focused on bringing financial education to all people, especially in educational institutions, as well as adults. So keep on your questions coming. Wise Nyaga, you are saying you're tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your presence. So Kathy, maybe you could touch base. What do you think is the right age for one to start teaching their children on matters of financial education?
So according to the National Financial Educators Council, so a child can be financial literacy from 3 years old, because that's the time when they are able to appreciate issues, they're able to appreciate things when you teach them. And psychologists do say that is why you can still talk to a child before they are even born. So what people do not know is kids continue observing around. Even from 1 year old, a child will be observing, this is what is happening. So when a child is born, it will just be like an empty disk. So you keep on giving everything that they are going to know, you are the one who teaches them. So anything that your child is going to learn about money is just by observing you. So the kids are always going to observing you, whether you see it or not. They're going to be observing you, whether you like it or not. So anything that you do with your money, they're going to be seeing and perceiving the value from that. And in the Japanese culture, they believe that the first 10 years of a child, anything that you do during the first 10 years, they'll never forget it. So in the Japanese culture, they use the first years of any child to teach them about, the Japanese values, to teach them about principles, to teach them about grooming, anything they need to know, cleanliness. We know that Japanese know that. So anything that you teach a child during the first 10 years, they'll. So money means anything that you told about your money during the first 10 years of their life, they will never forget it.
That is very correct, especially if a child is age 3, their minds are so blank. So anything you input in their mind, it's like an empty box. So you keep feeding the box with things. So one of the things you need to keep filling that box is financial education. We have this new era of parents, the digital parents, who believe that all their child needs are toys, mobile phones, which are very good. However, you could focus on buying toys that educate on principles of money, because there are some toys that do that. We know we have very digitized children. A child who is age 3 right now is able to operate a tablet. So one thing as a parent, I believe you need to ensure that if your child is having a tablet, let part of the games that are in that tablet, they teach about saving, they teach about investing. So when a child is exposed to such kind of environments, they will, by the time they reach teenage, they will be knowing something about money. they will be knowing how to handle money. And to speak of that, maybe Kathy, you could also share with us on what are the ways a parent can use to educate their kids about financial education. Because you just mentioned that children learn by observing and not by telling them. So maybe you could tell us what are the ways that the parents who are watching us right now, what can they be doing so that their kids get to learn about money at an early age?
Okay. First and foremost, parents should make separate time for kids to be taught about money. You know, where they say, this is the time we're going to be learning about financial literacy. So we all come, we sit down, and if you are teaching your kids, you obviously have to look at the ages or the stages that they are in. And then if you are teaching very little kids, let's say kids who are maybe between 3 and 7 years old, it means you have to use different models to teach them. You can come up with creative activities, things that are going to get the kids involved. They're going to get involved and still learn at the same time. I'll give an example of if you are going to be teaching your kids about budgeting, you can start by saying, this weekend we are going to be making a family pizza. So we are going to first start by listing all the ingredients that we need. So you sit down with your kids. What do you think we should put in our pizza? Cheese, we should put, list all the ingredients. Then you go shopping. Okay, first of all, you do the ingredients list. And then how much do you think this and this and this and this cost? Then you go and buy with your kids. Then when you come back, you are now going to sit and say, we now still need to budget even for time. So if we want to have our pizza by 7, it means we need to start at that particular time. And then when you start eating your pizza, you take it, you divide it, and then you say, let's just imagine this as the income for the family or the income that our parents had. And then each question can be, this can be paying for mortgage or rent, this can be buying groceries. So you can just try to come up with creative ways in which the kids are going to enjoy the pizza because they love pizza, but they're also going to learn something about it. And then the other thing, also understanding the levels that the kids are in. For example, as a child who is 3 years old, 4 years old, you can teach them about needs and wants by maybe taking a magazine and then they can be cutting and pasting to say, do you think this is a need or a want? And then parents can also teach their kids budgeting and saving by buying the piggy banks. For kids who are below 10 years old, I advise parents to buy maybe a creator, something that is going to motivate them. They will literally their money grow daily as they keep on putting more and more coins that say, oh, my money is growing, my money is growing. So that on its own is a motivator because the child is saying, I'm saving, my money is there. I know that my money is somewhere. And then for kids who are maybe above 12 years old, the parents can now start teaching them about properly keeping money in a bank account. How do you check your balances, the interest rate? If you are keeping so much every month, this is what you are going to get. So by teaching all this, it makes it easier for the parent to be able to manage their finances because your kids are not just going to be asking for ridiculous things because they know this is what you are doing as a. And the other also is involving in the family budget. Don't even think about or think the kids are still small. Get them on the table to say, this is budget time. So this is what we are buying. This is how much we are buying for groceries. And if you do that, your kids are going to understand and you're not going to have any stress because they'll know that, okay, at the moment we are building as a family. So it means we can't buy grasshoppers, we can't buy anything that is expensive. So this is what we can afford. And then to parents who are raising an example of who are between 2 or less than 5 years old, what normally happens is you see a lady will be at the grocery store, they are trying to pick a few items, and the child will be throwing everything in the trolley. And if the mother tries to say no, the child will start, rolling themselves on the floor. I don't blame the child, I blame the parent. It's because the child was never taught. And someone can say, no, how do you teach a 2 years old? Start by telling them, we are going to the store, you can only buy cheese and a sweet. They won't know how much the money is, but they'll know the value of what the money can be. If you take a drink, think and able, it means money is not enough. You keep on saying that until it gets to a point where the child understands. Because if you don't do that, you get to the shop, you maybe it's the month where you are really broke and you are just there for a few items, and the child will start crying because they want this and then the other thing also with kids who are less than 5 years old, down and tell them, hey, we are going to the shops and mommy doesn't have money to buy you chocolate, to buy you chocolate, to buy you Kinder Joy, they're toddler. So money to buy you this at this particular time. So if you're going with me to the shops, it means we are only going to buy meat. So you can't get chocolate, you can't get chips. It will be difficult when you start that. But over time, the child will start learning. Today we are going, you give them their money, say, this is how much you have. You can only buy chips. So if you get chips and drink and people for you. What people should know is that, consistency is key. Just be consistent with teaching your child. Like we've already said, it's just an empty. So they'll know that, there's a time when the money is enough, and then there's a time when the money is not enough. So if I'm given this, if we go to the shops and mommy shows me this is how much we have, it means, today I can get my chips and an apple. But if mommy said the money is not enough, it means it's not enough. So your child over time, they'll know. But when parents, the kids will grow, standard 7, they their primary school, they can't even wash a car, but they'll be demanding money from their parents. Because for kids who are above 30, with you pay, you can mop the floor, you can take the trash out, then you get money for that. But for them to be able to earn money that they can put in their piggy bank, they need to understand the value for money. And they can't learn the value for money if you always say they will say, I want $2, you throw it at them. I want $10, you throw it at them. Although we are not saying you can't just give your money, but you should make sure that you try to teach, instill value in them. You have to work. So if I clean the house and then sort my bedroom, I know that I can get $1 for that. If I clean outside or pick the litter outside, or maybe I wash the car, if they're old, wash the car, I can teach them something. So there's small little things that parents can do that can help their kids understand or have a overall understanding of money without really being engaging initial advice or really come in. So then learn by I'll just example. It's just like God is always good, even when you don't feel it. He's always doing something, even when you don't see it, even when you feel it's just even when you are feeling so tired, God is always doing something. So it's just like that with kids. So even when you don't see it, observing it. Even when you don't like it, they're observing it. Tomorrow you're going to see them. Oh, mommy, it's month end. Let's go and buy pizza. Let's go and do this. Because they know that when it's month end, it's Christmas at home. We have to go shopping, cooking at home. Those are the values that you're instilling in kids.
That is so profound, especially the part where you said it's important to teach your children or your child the value for money at an early age, not just being this parent whereby if a kid asks you for $5, you give it to them. If they ask you for $30, give it to them. I think that is one of the reasons that right now in our society we have 30-year-old gentlemen and ladies who are still sleeping in their parents' couch. If you tell them to go outside and look for work or start a business, they are unable to do that because they were not introduced to such an environment. They were not introduced to the value of money because they are so used in if I want $500, I just have to tell my mommy and she'll give it to me. You said something about teaching children about money and all, especially the saving part, and introducing something like a piggy bank, or even going with them to open a bank account, a kid's bank account, such that once the piggy bank is full, you go with your kid together to let the child know that your money now is now being transferred to a bank account, then you can use it to do something else after some time. Now, maybe you could touch base on these parents that once a child has saved some money, they use it without the knowledge of the child. So, for example, you find a very hardworking child, he or she has tried her best and maybe saved up to $50. Then the mom just decides, like, today let me take $10 from this. The child will understand. Can you just give us the implication this has, especially when this child gets to grow? Because I believe a lot of things that a person undergoes while they are still young, once they are adults, they start reflecting and coming out. So maybe you could tell us what repercussion this small activity that I know most parents do this could have on a child.
Okay, I'll start by saying, first of all, just like with an adult, we know that an adult, we save with goals. I save maybe because I want to buy a plot. I save maybe because I want to buy a car. So even when we teach our kids how to save, they should be goals. You ask them what is it that you want at the end of the year. The child will tell you, I want to buy something small. Maybe I want, and then you say, when saving for that. Their minds are still small. So if you're talking to a 3-year-old, they can tell you that I want to buy chocolate. If you're talking to a 5-year-old, they can say I want to buy a doll. You know, it will just go according to their age. And the implication of the parents now just taking the money, using it without the child's permission, that's very wrong. Number one, it's you are demotivating the child. The child is, imagine if the child knew that already I have so much, or I've been saving consistently, maybe even writing on a notebook somewhere to say, today I deposited so much, so it means currently this is how much I have. And then you decide to take the money without the child's permission or with the child's permission. It's still wrong. The reason why that is wrong is you are teaching the child that if I am in future, even if you want to pay for something, you still just to take the money. You can still decide to take the money and consume it. And that's not the culture that we are trying to instill. So even if as a parent you really get to you are in a tight situation, you can try to look for money elsewhere because you don't want to teach your child and then confuse them again. I've seen a lot of things on social media. We know that when the year begins, you know, we all be having resolutions. I want to start saving. I want to save every week. I want to save daily. You know, all sorts of unrealistic resolutions. So at the end of the day, the main point is that we all start with our resolutions. And you'll see by the 3rd month, people will still be posting now on social media to say, it was really hard. You'll see that piggy bank or whatever they used to save the coins at home, it will now be open or destroyed because they wanted to use money. And those are bad habits. So we don't want to be teaching our kids such things. So if you are raising kids at home and you are saying, this is where mommy is saving money and this is where you are saving money, just make sure that you keep your money until whatever that you were saving, until you are able to purchase, to reach your end goal. So don't raise healthy kids, they start saving their money, and then tomorrow you decide to take the money because you are demotivating the child, and then you are also now instilling wrong habits to say, even in future, if you save your money, you can decide to take it. It doesn't really matter. And then the other thing, once the child has the money is enough and is in a piggy bank, let's say it's at the end of the year, you can still decide to teach them responsibility to say, okay, this is the money that we saved. I know that we were saving for this. However, you can decide maybe to buy a loaf of bread. If the child has saved maybe $10, that's a lot of money for a child. If the child has saved $10, we can say you can contribute by buying something small like bread. You are just simply teaching the child responsibility, and you are not really asking them to contribute. It's something, just look for something that won't take a big chunk of their money, that they will learn, they will even feel the ownership. Today I'm the one who bought bread, you know. Those are things that
is very true. I remember while growing up, I learned a lot about money by watching my mom, and I remember my first investment I did was I was so talented when I was young, so I used to do some, some side gigs, poetry and all that. So the money I got in one of the events that I had been invited, I actually bought a chicken, a live chicken. Trust me, it felt out of this world. That was the first investment I ever did in my life. And with time, I was so I loved that hen. It was a small chicken, but I loved it so, so much, to a point that I started nurturing it until it gave, gave birth or hatched other chicks. So by the end of like 6 months, I had like 5 chicken from one. And, at that time, I really didn't understand much about, investment and money. But right now, it makes it easy for me to understand investment. It makes it easy for me to understand the importance of monetizing your talents so that you can get money and save or invest. And I think that is what most parents need to take up and embrace it, so that you don't want to hurt your child. Remember, when you take their money without their knowledge, you are creating a mindset in them. Number one, they'll have a very negative mindset towards saving. Another thing, they'll have a very bad attitude towards money, because after all, if I'm saving and my money somebody is taking it, they won't really see the value of doing all that. Now, to our audience, thank you so much for being with us. We are about to end the show, so keep your questions coming. We shall try our best to answer as many questions as possible. Just as we wind up, maybe Kathy, you could touch base on homeschooling. I believe I'm not sure if it's now operating in your country, Botswana, but so far so good, especially with this coronavirus. A lot of parents have opted to doing homeschooling. And what do you think, as a parent, if I'm doing homeschooling to my kids, should I introduce my own curriculum that I will call money management for my kids? And if I introduce such a curriculum, what should I highlight in such a curriculum if I introduce it?
Okay. I also just wanted to share on what you were sharing. I was just remembering something.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, something that was like with me or with when I was growing up. You find that in most instances, okay, growing up, I was never really taught about money. And you find out that if, let's say, a relative visits and they give you a $1 or $2 and say, they'll give you that as if like they'll be giving you like it's your money that you can use to buy whatever you want. And you'll see that the moment they leave, your parents will say, no, bring that money, we have to buy meat. Those are just that we do away with it. You see that that's what really used to happen to a lot of kids. If your uncle visits, they give you money or they give you a lot of money. The moment they leave, your mother will take all that money and then maybe give you $1 out of what you were given and say you can go buy sweets, and then the rest of the money you never really know what they do with the money. So that's what used to happen. And then on what you were saying, since we are in this era of the COVID-19 pandemic, what parents should do is, even if you are teaching your kids from home, make sure that you introduce an aspect of financial literacy. You don't really need a full curriculum or anything. You can just emphasize on the 3S of saving, spend, and share. Saving, spend, and share. So you teach your kids that, from wherever you get, don't spend all your money. So this is how much I'm giving you. So from that, decide how much of it do you want to save, and then make sure that when they decide to save, you help them to develop the goal and then to have a savings plan. So if you want to achieve this by the end of the year, it means you are going to be saving this each and every week. You get your pocket money, or you can decide to do anything, any household, and then get something from that. So that's what the parents can do. And then the reason why I'm talking about sharing is you are teaching your kids to be able to be responsible. Financial literacy helps one to be responsible, So you are teaching your child to be able to be responsible and to help other kids. So in this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen that other people have really been hit hard, where they don't even they have nothing to eat, they have nothing to wear. So teach your children also about sharing, to say out of this that you have, you can decide you can share this with your friend, you can buy 2 pencils, have one and give one to your friends. But let's emphasize on spending. Spending, they shouldn't just only spend all the money they have. They should make sure that they save anything that they give, make sure that they save. And then the other impulse buying. Go with your kids to the shop and they would said, make sure that when you leave home, they tell you what they want to buy. They will say, I want to buy maybe chips and a drink. If they get to the shop, they can't now say, no, now I want chocolate. That's impulse buying, but at a very low level. So those are things that we overlook because we are saying, besides is their money, or they've decided otherwise. So the same thing with an adult who go to the shop and say, I'm going to buy groceries, but I'll end up coming with a pair of jeans.
That is very true, especially on impulse buying. Actually, when you start to analyze impulse buying, it doesn't start when you are an adult. This is something that started when you are still young. You went for shopping with your parent or guardian. Then while at home you said you want this, but once you arrived at the shop, you're like, no, I want everything. That clearly tells you that if we were able to get this character or habit while young, then it's possible as a parent you can instill a better habit on your child while they are still young by learning to have them create their own shopping list, so that when you go out or when you go to do shopping, everybody picks what is on their shopping list. So I can see Omogolo is asking, what's your take on students that leave school because their businesses or side hustles are now doing well?
Okay, I
You'll
don't
take
think
that.
okay. I don't think it's a good idea because first
Mm-hmm.
of all, you would have started to say, I'm starting, I want to have a law degree. I'm starting, I want to have a finance degree. So even if that is flourishing, or you think you are now flourishing at the moment, I think just make sure that you take whatever that you're doing unto completion, finish and then have your degree, because also getting that qualification is going to be beneficial to your business, is going to be beneficial to you even in future. So I don't think really it's a good idea for someone to say, I'm leaving because I've now started. And we know that happen. Most young people do that.
Actually, for me, what I usually say, consistency is very key. If you start a goal, ensure you see it to the end, because this will not just affect your education. You might leave out, but this clearly tells you are a person who is not able to see to the end of something. So as much as people believe that side hustles could be doing well, I also experienced the same when I was in university. And the thing is, most of my colleagues who dropped out of school right now, they are struggling because you cannot predict that your business will be stable for 10 years. We are in very challenging times and the market dynamics keep on changing. So, but one thing you are sure about is that your education, nobody can take it away from you. So when you have education, you can start from somewhere, no matter what kind of mishaps you come along. So I would not advocate for anyone to leave school. If you enrolled in school and you started a business and you feel that this business is doing well, then employ people, delegate the roles, and you ensure you finish your goal. The same applies when it comes to money. If you start a goal towards with money, maybe you're saving towards buying a car, ensure you reach to the end. Do not, as you are saving, then somebody comes up with another investment idea that seems so wow. You decide, like, now I'm not saving for my car again, I'm going to pull out and no, it doesn't work like that. it's very important to learn to stick to a goal, see that you've achieved it, then go to the next, education being one of them. So I believe we have like 2 more minutes to take your questions. So if you have any question, feel free to ask and we shall be more than happy to answer you. Meanwhile, you can check out Financial Literacy Trust Facebook page. I believe it's showing on Kadi's name or under her name, Financial Literacy Trust. Go like their Facebook page. You may also check out their Instagram accounts and follow them under the same name, Financial Literacy Trust. And on our end, we encourage you to follow us on Instagram at Financial Wellness Center so that you can get to have real-time updates about money management. And the most important of all is for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Financial Wellness with Sheila, so that you can get to watch more videos on money and business management and become more empowered. So, Kathy, maybe one last question that I just got from someone on inbox. Sorry, just a question. Do you think financial literacy will help eliminate poverty, and how?
Yes, I think financial literacy can help to reduce or to eliminate it. And the reason is people do not have financial literacy. A lot of people normally is fake it until you make it, and then there's we see a lot of people getting poor trying to teach. That is because of financial illiteracy. So if someone is financially literate, they will not be. It will be easy for them to not up to this standards, following trends. You know, where you have to look in a certain way, even if you don't have money, you have to go and borrow money so that you dress and look in a certain way. So financial literacy helps one person to be you know, you are independent, you are confident in decisions, and you are not really, you don't really move with the wind. And also, I believe literacy is not about money. One of the pillars of financial psychology, which talks about money, emotions, how we act when we are happy, how we act when we are sad. So financial literacy is just beyond talking about money. You know, we look at your jobs, and there's jobs and career. There are a lot of things surrounding financial literacy. So if someone learns financial literacy, they're not only learning how to budget, they are learning how to understand where do they pay tax, why is it important. So they learn a lot of aspects around their lives, which will help them become better individuals, which will help them become better, which will help them informed decisions. I believe someone who is financially literate will not just move to say, okay, this is now in fashion, so this is what I'm going to do. Or people now dress a certain way, this is what I'm going to do. So if you are financially literate, you end up being someone who is financially sound, and your decisions are going to reflect exactly that.
I like that, financially sound. That is the goal, actually. I like it. Being financially sound, it's not just about budgeting and saving, but it cuts across even your psychology, your attitude towards money. What is your mindset towards money? It cuts across a lot of things. Again, when you are financially literate, there are decisions, especially things like career decisions. When you learn about financial education, you're able to make better decisions in life that are going to benefit you, and of course benefit everyone around you. So once again, we are coming to the end of today's Wealth Wednesday live show. We really appreciate your presence and your support in joining us and being here with us. Remember, today we discussed on should financial literacy be taught in schools, and the answer is yes, and more so even in our homes. If you are a parent, if you are a guardian, start teaching your household about money. As we said, you don't need to be a financial guru to start teaching about money management to your kids. Start with simple things as budgeting, spending, saving, investing. Start doing that. In case you need any further help, you can contact us at Financial Wellness Center, and we'll be more than happy to really guide you on that, as we are looking into creating a financially free society with people of who are financially sound. So maybe Kathy, if you have you can give us your parting shot as we end up tonight's session.
Maybe I'll say make sure that everyone should make money smart decisions, because the future you will thank you for the decisions you make today. Make money smart decisions, because the future you will thank you for the decisions you make today. So if you make wrong decisions today, the future you is definitely going to suffer.
That is correct. Just to highlight, we shall be having the Money Smart Virtual Summit. I always interchange those words. We shall be hosting the Money Smart Virtual Summit on 25th of July on the Financial Literacy Trust page. Mark your calendars, set your dates. We shall be there alongside other noble financial coaches. So set your calendar dates. It will be at 1 p.m. East African time. That's, I think it will be like, I'm not sure, it's 11, it will be 11 a.m. GMT, if I'm not wrong. So set your calendar dates, and I hope we shall be able to see you there. And most of all, tag a friend and prepare your questions. So until then, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kathy, for your time, and pass our greetings to your people in Botswana. Let them know we really appreciate their support, and we are so honored to have you join us tonight. So yeah, thank you for today, and do have a great night. I know it's evening on your side, like maybe 7 p.m. So yeah, on our end, it's already 10. So it's like almost late night, and we really appreciate your presence. Thank you so much.
21:33.
Correct. Thank you so much, everyone. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Financial Wellness Center, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall be attaching the link above this live session. Until then, keep staying safe, and we'll see you next Wednesday on our Wealth Wednesday live session again.
Thank you.